I'm so nervous.
Me too. But I wanted to okay, so
All right, so it seems like we are live. Silvia, should we get started? Or do you want to share your post first?
Yes, if I manage. Wait. Okay. But Daniel, if I share it... Wait. Oi. Okay. Daniel, if I share it... My God. Okay. Wait. Oi. I hope I manage. Okay. Okay. Maybe I managed.
All set?
I hope. Yeah. It's going.
So I guess we will get started. I'd like to thank everybody who is joining us today. My name is Daniel Sharp. I'm general manager at Powell Flutes, but until very recently, I was the business manager for Powell Flutes in Europe. I spent the last 3 years living in Paris, managing all the sales and marketing. And it was a very interesting experience for me as an American flutist, living in a different kind of musical culture from where I was learned to play the flute and where I performed as a musician. And so I was very fortunate to see a lot of concerts, a lot of competitions, a lot of master classes in many different countries. And something I would occasionally hear would be, this player is very good, but he sounds too French. This would never work in Germany. Or I would hear things like, there is no such thing as the French school anymore. You hear lots of different things back and forth. And so, this is a very interesting concept because we don't have this in USA. We don't have a California orchestra say, oh, this player sounds too much like New York. We can't have him in our orchestra. It's crazy to talk like this. But sometimes you hear these things in other places in the world. So, my experience living and working in Europe was really quite fascinating, especially from a flute maker standpoint, because, we're very interested in sound at Powell Flutes, and it's very important for us to know how people are playing the flute around the world and to know that our instruments are satisfying the demand of what the players need around the world. So I had this idea to have this discussion about quote unquote modern European flute school. And I'd like to talk about the sound of the players in Europe and the school system and the learning and the orchestras and all of this. And I could not think of a more perfect person to join me than Silvia Careddu. She is someone who is the very living embodiment of a European. She comes from Sardinia in Italy. She studied in France. She's worked in Germany and Austria and UK and everywhere in between. And she teaches in some very important schools in Europe. So, I'm really happy to have Silvia here with me today.
Thank you, Daniel.
I hope,
hello, everybody. Hello, Daniel.
I hope through the conversation that people will get to know you a little bit better and your career and things like this, because it's always good. Sometimes we have new people we have not met before, but just to let everyone know that Silvia has been a solo flutist of the Concert House Orchestra in Berlin, the Vienna Symphony, the Vienna State Opera, Vienna Philharmonic, as well as guesting in Mahler Chamber Orchestra, Bavarian Radio Symphony, Philharmonia Orchestra, Chamber Orchestra of Europe, and the Budapest Festival Orchestra. You are also professora at Strasbourg Conservatoire. the Hans Eichler Academy in Berlin, and also the Barenboim Said Academy, which is very interesting in Berlin. So people are flocking all around the world to play for you, to take lessons from you. So it's really interesting to hear what you have to say about things. But I would like to ask a very basic question, Silvia, to begin with. What's your first memory of the flute? And how did you decide to start playing the flute? Do you remember?
Very well. So first of all, thank you for your beautiful introduction. And yeah, we will talk later about all my activity, because more you were saying, more I was thinking it might sound too much that I'm trying to be everywhere. No, we will talk later about, okay. No, actually, as a child, I didn't want to play flute at all. No. So I wanted to play piano, and because we had one at home, and my brother was already playing a little bit, and but my parents, they made like very, very clever. They managed to let me to somehow impose me the flute, not even choose the flute, because they said, but with the piano we can't go on vacation, and we can't go in La Maddalena. That is a small island that I love, and maybe Americans, they know, because we had till a few years ago USA NATO base exactly in this small island. So there were many Americans there, and yeah. But anyway, and they said, we will never go there anymore because you have to practice. I said, what? No way. Okay. I say yes for the flute. But so it was not like I didn't choose this instrument. And somehow I didn't really like it till I was 16. I was 9 years old. And till 16, I didn't like for many reasons. Who cares? But there are some chemistry that didn't pass with my teacher, let's say, the first I had. And but I continued to practice because of my mom, let's say, and my father. They wanted that. Okay, but then when I was 15, I went with my mom to a concert, and I heard the one that would have been then my teacher, and I was really amazed by the sound and the beauty of the music that they were playing. And the teacher was Riccardo Ghiani, that you also know. And yeah, and from that moment I really became, let's say, passionate of the flute, and actually of the music, because what I learned by the concert was that what I was receiving was really beautiful music, not only flute, but really fantastic played. And yeah, that's why I thought, wow, actually flute can be beautiful, and if it's for playing those beautiful pieces, then yes, it doesn't matter which instrument actually then, no?
So I understand you then went on to study with Riccardo, yes, in Sardes. What was that like? What was it like the first time you had a new teacher? Did he give you new studies, a new repertoire, or a new exercise? What was the experience for you at the age of 16?
Well, actually, it was quite tough, because I was already, let's say, in an advanced level, not instrumentally. I could not tell this, but in the years of conservatoire, no, I was going further, close to the diploma, no, and so I was doing all the programs that we have to do each year, imposed by the ministry, and but I didn't know which level I had,
So really the repertoire and the studies were kind of curriculum based by the minister or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Because there are some exams where you have to present some books of exercise, some etude, and there is a kind of schema.
Yeah.
And when I met Ricardo, I understood how many things I didn't actually know how to do, even the basics, scales, like stupid, just knowing the scales, because the teacher I had was not used to made us practice scales and techniques as exercise. So even when he asked me, can we play fourth and sixth and a third, he didn't even ask because he thought I would have known. And I was like, what?
Wow.
It's really difficult for me to realize that I was in an advanced year, but not at all actually basic. In the basics, I was missing control, technique, and how to build a phrase, not only instinctively using your instinct, but basic on some rules, no?
Yeah. So
There are.
what motivated you to kind of do that work? Some people would have said that's a lot of work, scales, no thanks, go outside. But what was your motivation?
Well, first of all, I understood the importance of
We see maybe we lost Silvia a little bit. I sent her a message.
those Daniel. Hello, Daniel.
Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, I could hear you all the time. Sorry, I don't know what's
sorry, your video froze. So apologize
sorry.
to everybody watching. Just recap for us. We were talking about the motivation, especially as a teenager. What was inspiring you to put in the work?
Because I thought, first of all, I understood the importance of the things that I was missing. Because it was to have a control on your instrument and not being, let's say, amateur level.
Yeah.
Because how I was playing was only instinct, no? And you can't base your professional formation. I don't know how you say.
Your foundation or your training.
Yeah. Your education, you need to have really good basics, and I understood that they were right and easy to learn, not the technical one, but this I didn't like to practice so much, but I did it because I knew that would have helped me later. But I loved to practice the sounds and to make a work on the quality of the sound, not only okay, I have this sound and I play that way.
Did you have besides Ricardo, did you have some people you were listening to? Maybe they are flute players, maybe they are not, but did you have a sound ideal?
Well, for me there were more than one, and I think that was what I liked, because for example with Ricardo we discussed about many sounds, not that they can be beautiful, but the importance is how you use them, how they were used by the player, no? So I was making like, for me it was interesting to absorb this way, or this beautiful sound, and to remind myself when I was playing something. And they were very inspiring people, like for me absolutely were Emmanuel Powell, Rampal, Galway, Nicole. Everybody had something, even others, Galois or whatever. I was listening many players, not only one. And I, from all of them, I liked something that I thought always, wow, that's interesting how they focalize maybe on that point, on the, I don't know, the vibrato or the pianissimo or the changing of colors. So what's interesting, like to listen, but not passive, but to take inspiration from them, and also I loved always listen other instruments a lot, or opera singers a lot. It was actually yeah, I don't know. I liked music in general. So,
Do you remember? Do you remember a piece repertoire that you absolutely loved playing in Sardinia at this age? Was there one piece?
yeah, I was the concerto of Reinecke. Yeah.
Ah,
I think, yeah, I had the overdose of this concerto.
yeah. I played also at the same age, and I had a teacher who said it was good for young people because it's very emotional.
Yeah. Drama total, and for Italians it was the best. So no, I'm joking, but it was great. And then I loved also very easy, I mean easy, not easy, but simple, beautiful melody of Fauré, the Fantaisie.
Yeah.
Those, yeah, they were my favorite, and of course Frank Sonata. But the highlights was with Reinecke concerto. Wow.
So at a certain moment, sounds like you have this very happy flute life in Sardinia. You have a fantastic teacher. What's the next step for you? You decide to leave, right? Where do you go?
Well, it was just small correction, not really happy. It's strange because for me were difficult years. So let's say in my family life, so for me music was like a really big help, and many things I took like a challenge with myself. Good or not good, they helped me to practice and to concentrate in something. You know, I didn't only took this change to only to learn the flute, but was also to really think of concretizing myself in something, and to, you know, like a challenge to be then able to be proud of yourself. Maybe it was a little bit too much because I was very hard with myself, but who knows, maybe it was right because I could really focus. And I don't know. I always think about that. No, was it too much? It was good? I don't know. But those years were important because I wanted really to do something with the music and to play. Actually, I liked playing.
I'll ask you a personal question. What was your dream for your career at this moment? You were working hard, but for what? What was your dream?
I wanted to go to Paris to be a student in the Conservatoire of Paris. And for me, I heard so much about that. I wanted to go to France and absolutely in Paris Conservatoire. I heard it so much talking about that by Ricardo, that was in Paris. It was a student of another fantastic teacher. That was Raymond Guillot, that then was also my teacher in Rome, in the Accademia del Flauto, Italiana del Flauto. And so that was my objective. And it was not easy because I tried 3 times.
Yeah, so tell me about the process for you entering. What did you have to do? What was it like?
So you have, I think now it's a little bit changed because of many things changed by the time I was a student. But before there was first of all, an exam of solfège. So to test if your level was, but not only like this solfège, you know, what we can think, like not only the rhythmical one, but
yeah, so we call this a music theory test, and you have the music theory, which is kind of the writing part, the theory, and then you have oral theory, which is the listening and we call sight singing. You know, you have to read some melodies and sing in solfège and all of this training. You know, it's kind of
and dicté. So someone is playing, and you have to write different and the accords, and actually this was, I think, was for me even more difficult because the solfège we did in Italy was good but not so deep. So France was specialized for solfège and this kind of really different ways of seeing solfège, no, education of the listener, and very deep in the the difficulties. So I was absolutely super stressed. So I packed like, I think, like this. Ooh, I was like, wow, miracle. And actually, they said if you pass the instrumental part, then you will have to do solfege, because it was really limit to pass. So well, for me it was tough, really, to write accords, like, and then you have to write down everything. Although I could hear, but not everything. So of course I was missing always something. And yeah, the paper was like, okay, half full. Yeah, but then after the solfege, you have two rounds with instruments. You have imposed program.
Okay, so they tell you what to play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you have a list where you can choose a piece with the piano, but also then you have a piece that comes out 6 weeks before, and it can be an etude or a piece. And then at the second round as well, you have to play side reading a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was tough because at the time also they put a percentage of people that they from abroad that they could be admitted, and it was very small. It was like 17%.
So you were unsure if you would even be accepted because you were from outside.
Yeah, because at that time there was not the European community.
Right.
So I was coming as a foreign that is applying to a super school, and of course they were a little bit were giving the chance to the musicians,
Sure.
French musicians. Of course, now we would say like no, but maybe I mean it was just because also I at the time that we were changing from to Europe, I could understand a little bit because every country had really different way of approaching, for example, solfege or other things, or analysis or. So the time we needed time to get a little bit in a level where every European lens is
the same,
getting the same, But I tell you, really, solfege was amazing, good, and I heard now from many people that the actual solfege that is taught in France is less demanding than what it was before. So of course there were many adjustments from.
Sure. What other things changed for you in your life in Paris? Once you got in, you were accepted. What was it like? You finally arrived at the Conservatoire, the Paris, and
I was super happy, really. For me, it was the chance of my life to I had in my hand the chance to give a form to my life as a musician, and to really meet a lot of students that they were the same energy, and teachers that they were really pushing everybody to give the best, and even in a hard way, but really pushing us to practice a lot and be productive every week.
So tell me a little bit about the curriculum. What was the routine? What was your life like as a student there?
So every week we had to prepare one new piece with or without piano, doesn't matter, of the repertoire. Not allowed to to bring again the same piece.
Sure.
Okay, if we didn't finish, okay, we finished, but there is also the new piece the next time. And etude with the assistant, because there were two teachers for flute. And
could you explain the structure of it? Because even today there are still assistants in the Paris.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about what are the responsibilities of the main professor, what are the responsibilities of the assistant, and what does it mean for you as a student there?
So with the main teacher, let's say, my time was Pieri Varto for me. And I was I brought every week a new piece, no, and if they were short, too. Okay. And with him every month we were used to do a fantastic thing that I start also in very soon, hopefully in my schools, I mean where I teach. He put a video camera, and we had to prepare a program, like mini recital, let's say 1 hour, and with so intelligent program. What was the concept behind, and he was filming us so we could see later on how we were to study yourself by yourself, no?
Yeah.
And this was with Arto, and of course we could talk about whatever, like technique or musica with him, all questions, no problem, no? But with the assistant was more, of course, a detailed work. So we were bringing etude and technique, like really pure scales and Reichard and this kind of for the sound Moise and working on that. And we could, of course, also play the pieces that we were preparing in case we had some audition or competition, no? So it was really they were both working together and actually having the same absolutely aesthetic, you know. So there was no collision, and actually different. They were asking different. Let's say Arto was more about more musically, go more on the piece really, and composer you have to know much more than what you know. And with Florence Souchard, that was his assistant, fantastic player and fantastic teacher as well. We were working on the mega detail, really in an obsessive way, almost.
Do you remember something? Do you remember one detail where you were just thinking, Florence, why do we have to do this?
I remember many, because at the very beginning, I remember, and I already told Florence, we were not, I mean, I didn't like to go to her lesson.
Oh, really?
Yeah. First of all, I don't know, because she was very active, and I felt stressed, and I had to do things exactly precise like this, and I could not manage. I didn't have this really developed this mentality yet, no? So I was a little bit struggling, and I mean, of course, I was precise, but in her head there was another level, no?
Yeah.
So, or other things more important for her than for other teachers I had before, no?
Yeah.
So I had to learn, and I remember that even when I was taking the flute, like no, come on. It became a drama to bring the flute.
Really?
Wow.
So,
but then we found each other, because she understood that there was not a kind of slow and bored player. No, I needed to be encouraged in another way, you know. Each person is different. So, but then it went like a super equipe, no? All three together, no?
Team,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a strange question? You tried out for the Paris Conservatoire, and it took you 3 times. You got in. Were you thinking about any other schools in Europe?
Yes, because look, I told you that I entered on the third time, but I was in the meanwhile I went in another school, but in Paris, because I really wanted to go there, and I heard many good things about Sophie Chérier. That at that time, I'm speaking about 97. She was teachers in the CNR de Paris.
Okay.
That is now, it's the same in Rue de Madrid. So and when I entered there, I was so happy. For me, I was so happy, and I told her I don't want to try the SNSM again, the superior. No? And she said, but you should, because it's your last time. I said, but I don't care, because I really am happy with you. So for me, it was important, not so much, let's say, absolutely the school, but to make progress with someone. And I was really happy. But then I have really to say thanks, because she pushed me to go in a fantastic institution. The thing is that those schools are like now I would say also Hochschule or whatever. It doesn't matter which one. They are structured in a way that they really forms you to be a professional for many reasons.
Yeah, so in France, they have certain levels of conservatoire. Huh? We have at the very top, superior, there are only, we have Paris and Lyon.
Mm-hmm.
And then below, I think it's called National. You have to help me. How many national conservatories are there?
Many.
Yeah.
There is actually after
national, you have regional, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But now it's called Pôle Supérieur.
Yeah.
So look, there is Paris, Lyon, and where you can where everybody knows that they are the most important, but and where you can do a bachelor and masters and doctorate. But since many years actually, and it's kind of nice to inform that also Strasbourg Conservatoire, not only because I'm teaching now there after many years that Mario Caroli was teacher there, but it's another conservatoire. There are 3 in France, so Paris, Lyon, and Strasbourg, where you can do bachelor, master, and doctorate.
Wow.
Also now Strasbourg is also the doctorate with Freiburg University. So these 3 are the most, let's say, high where you can achieve more than bachelor, let's say, no?
Yeah.
And the others you can do bachelor degree and degrees, and of course the previous as well. You have cycle 1, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And there are some conservatoires like Paris, Lyon, and Strasbourg. You can do the DE, so it's a formation as teacher. You can pedagogy, and it's super important as well, because it gives you another option in life to be also to go in another sector that is also absolutely fantastic, no?
Do they have the same system in Germany, or is it a different system?
Next question. No. No, I know that there is Musikschule,
okay,
and where it's pre-bachelor.
Okay.
Then you have bachelor and master, and concert exam that is like a kind of doctorate, but only instrumental.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, after you finished in conservatoire in Paris, did you have idea what would come next? Did you have plans already? What do most young people do when they finish? Do they immediately begin in an orchestra? Do they teach? What was your experience?
And so during my study, I did some competition, and this, of course, they were helping, of course, to be focused, and more practicing, but also, of course, when you start to, maybe when you have the I don't know how to say, it's not a chance to win one, but it's a kind of, so it's when you win one, let's say, then if you win a big one, it can help, of course, to introduce you to the real professional world, not anymore only student, but also presented as let's say a new generation of blah blah blah. And it was the last year when I was still studying, I did Geneva competition that was let's say, at least I don't know how it's considered in America, but in Europe it's very important competition.
Top.
And of course I was shocked somehow to win something like that, because I was still a student, and I promised, really I did it because I liked the program, I liked the jury. I was actually happy to prepare myself to a beautiful program. And when I won, of course, this kind of competition, they opens up a nice, let's say, new path. No, then it's not, everything is not done, because those competition, it depends how you behave, no, how you move, and there are many ways of being. No,
Yeah.
Depends. You can win something like that doing absolutely nothing. And I don't know, for me, let's say I had some dreams, but I was not really concrete. I liked playing, and I didn't know that actually to be a soloist, you need way more than playing well. No? There are many things, like being also a kind of a manager of yourself, and
Like
this
I
was
small business kind of, huh? Yeah.
And this I was totally unprepared. And there were no Facebook, nothing social, nothing. It was just starting even internet. I mean, it looks like I'm 80 years old, but almost. but
So do you
yeah.
do you think competitions are still important today in Europe?
It depends.
Yeah, I mean,
It depends.
it's changed a lot, but from my perspective, in the US, we don't have so many competitions. We have some small regional ones, some band things for kids when they're before a bachelor's degree. And then we have our National Flute Association, this convention that normally happens every year. They have a very important young artist competition, but generally, we don't have that many opportunities to compete. I can say during my 3 years in Europe, I probably in 3 years went to or heard about at least 10 or 12 competitions. It's very easy to do, all the different ones: Nielsen competition, Geneva competition, Kulau competition, Gazzoloni competition. You have Cluj in Romania, you have things in France, it's just everywhere. So I think this is a very important part still, maybe for young people, because you really get to see other flutists,
Yeah.
top level. Huh?
And plus other people can they can get to know you. Now that, for example, many competitions, they are streamed, or very important.
Yeah.
Because not only flutists, they can hear you, and also a conductor or a artistic director of an orchestra. Not only if you win the competition, that's why I'm saying it's not only about winning. If someone really likes how you play, he can engage you for a concert, or or even a CD or a project. And doesn't have to be, you don't have to be the winner always. No, of course.
You also
Good level.
Have you also made friends from competitions that maybe you didn't meet before?
Yeah, of course. No, I'm a lucky person, because I mainly didn't have enemies, or I was actually having a good contact with many people. And of course, I didn't have contact with people that they were jealousy, or I was very far away from those people, because I'm not like this, so I didn't want to feel this bad energy. But of course, for example, to come back to your question, of course, I also thought, maybe I should enter in an orchestra, or I could understand that only living from concerts would be dangerous, because of the, let's say, repertoire of the instrument. I don't know. I could tell that there were, after the competition, I had many engagements, but less and less after, I mean, then it depended by how I moved. But I had to do this movement,
Sure.
to go to propose myself.
Yeah.
And but in the meanwhile, before that I understood this, and instead of complaining, I tried, of course, the audition, and prepared myself to to get a job. And it was not easy because the level was already very high, and I didn't have zero experience. I was like starting from zero, because at that time, even in Paris, we were not practicing orchestra except, or
Really?
no. So I had to learn, let's say, after the diploma. And I was a kind of lucky, because I started to play in an orchestra in Italy, in Toscanini, with Lorin Mazel. So I was learning by doing. Also tough, but that's life. We all do like you win a job, okay, but then you have to learn how to do it, because it's like with the car, you get the I don't know where you go.
You get this license, and just because you passed the test doesn't mean you can drive 8 hours. It's a different thing, huh?
Yeah, or in different
situation. Now you have to sit in the orchestra there for 8 hours a day, with colleagues.
Yeah, and the intonation and the conductor and new project, difficult parts, and I mean stressful, no? And you have a Probezeit, the the trial.
Yeah, trial.
But there is no medicine and no how you say, no receipt. You have to do.
Yeah.
So you have to pass from there.
What do you consider your first big job, that you were happy you received this job and you thought, okay, I am a professional musician, I have a job, what was your first post that you were happy about?
To assume that there was a piece with a job was in Berlin, in Concerthouse Orchestra. It was, I was already 27. I mean, in the sense already, because it depends, no? For some people it's already aged, and for me was okay, no? But there are many people that they get the job before, so it's just to say that it doesn't matter when.
Sure.
I think we should not stuck in this age things. I mean, of course,
I think that's really important. For you now, you were playing in Italy, you studied in France, and all of these things. Was this your first engagement in a German orchestra?
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know what things changed for you, or what you realized immediately. We kind of can talk a little bit now about sound, kind of. German orchestra is very different, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I could remember that I had, for example, to blow in the instrument so much air.
Really? Wow.
Really. 1,000 liters more. I was used to do. So at the beginning it was very like, my God, because okay, in France I was educated by this, not nice phrasing, and the forte was one forte, and for me was already big forte. But there was really, I had to learn how to play more, and how to use the resonance of the body, and not only blow. No, at the beginning I was only, and then I understood I was missing something, so I continued to learn, and that's why at that moment I asked Emmanuel Paiu to give me, if it was possible, his advices, and his how he was doing. Of course I could not reproduce the same, but at least to try to to understand what was for him playing, for example, forte without getting dead, and without changing instruments, let's say, no?
Yeah,
First of all, like to learn really the technique to play in a big hall and not receiving only the comments, can you play more, we can't hear you, and I was like kind of frustrated, so I wanted to learn. And this happened, I was 30 years old, so it was quite a mega change, huge change.
Can you describe some of the physical changes that you made to your playing? I know it's hard, and you know, we were just here on Zoom in one time, in one moment, but
Yeah.
I remember there was something, you know, really
Yeah.
physically that changed for you.
Well, the let's say I went to him basically for of course to learn about music and to play for him orchestra excerpts for other audition that I wanted to do. But then the main point was to change something like the sound, no? And so it started by the embouchure.
Sure.
That I was used to play a little bit, let's say,
Up.
go a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. And of course, I heard already by other teachers like Riccardo or Artaud and Florence, they were saying to play that way. Yeah? But I didn't change, zero. But I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I was comfortable the way but I saw I was limited. I could hear it. And Emmanuel said, okay, you have to lift those muscles here and to play like totally relaxed. And mamma mia, was a catastrophe at the beginning because the sound was
like, how long were you uncomfortable?
Quite in my souvenir, quite a lot, because to do this kind of exercise in front of a mirror, depressing, and then to go back to practicing to play in the orchestra, trying in the meantime to change and not to use your old way. This was stressful because I could not rely on my new technique.
Sure.
And it took me a bit of time and to understand what Emmanuel said and to rely those information to what Nicolet, for example, told me when I studied also a little bit with him, and that he said things that I heard because I could remember, but I didn't understand. Like, for example, you should imagine you have like a stereo, like, and you should pronounce M when you play. This kind of information I could not translate in a technical way. So of course I remember Florence Souchard that was saying, you should open up the higher part of your face. Okay, I had the impression to do it, but actually, obviously not enough. No? So when I did this lesson with Emmanuel, I was really like even maybe too much watching in detail what he was doing and seeing the air in the cheeks and how he was breathing and pushing the air, and he said, you have just to do like singers they do, and then always think this M. My God, it took me forever to understand, really, but not because they didn't explain.
Sure.
Because of course they were Emmanuel was used to his way, and he was giving me his way of seeing things. Now he said you have to think about the third eye and the air till your I don't know how you call this part of the
leg. Calf, we call it.
Yeah, like, but for him was the same of Nicolet, like you have to feel like a tree.
Yeah.
Or a sumo fighter. These things I understood after, and I really am super thankful that I got also those information, not only technically, because I could imagine, when as every person that as a, let's say, use the art creativity more. It's very important, I think, to always use this creativity and imagination more than, okay, can you do this and that? It's important to know, but not only, because then otherwise it becomes like only schema. I did this and that and this. And actually, when we play, we should have sensation, and I think things that helps the realization, but without only using technique.
So would you say that this kind of change in technique, which brought forth from Nicolet and Emmanuel, now you are using it also, you are teaching your students this kind of technique. Would you say
Absolutely.
that it's still a new technique, or do you think everybody is playing like this way?
Good question.
It's difficult.
I think there are many ways to teach this. No, for example, I could remember Ricardo was saying you have to blow hot air, and it's exactly the same. No? For example, there are many ways to transmit this. I don't know how many teachers they talk about that, but I can tell if a player is using the technique about resonance and this, yes, because it's really obvious in the sound.
And do you think that this change happened because we have bigger concert halls and bigger orchestras? Or is it because of a choice? People wanted the flute to sound differently? Is it because of certain orchestras, they were always playing loud? How do you think this change happened? You know?
Well, first of all, I don't know if it changed everywhere, the mentality, you know, or but I can tell that this way of playing, it of course is very, very close to the singing technique. And because we don't have this, how you say, I mean, it's very natural. It should be natural to play the flute. And there are many parallelisms that, of course, as a wind player, we can use how we manage to conduct the air in a phrase. How do we do these things? Of course, we should absolutely inspire ourselves only by the singer's technique, and not even because bigger sound or no bigger sound, because it's the most natural way of playing this instrument. Instead of thinking too much this, or I don't know, but I could tell that of course this way of playing it enriched the sound a lot, and it makes things more easy, even for a small person like I am. No, I'm not tall at all. Sorry. And it helps. But even I'm experimenting this with my students that they are bigger than me, and they were having a small sound because everything was based up and a little bit stuck and like this, and even just relaxing this part and using the low abdominals and this resonance and this. I should not say that it's easy because nobody will come to study. No, but you can learn actually by a singer.
Yeah, I have to admit that I made the same kind of change when I came to the EU in 2017, and I heard the players and listened, and I know what you went through with an embouchure change. It's terrible. It's really just painful. But I felt, I don't know if you feel this way, but I felt like afterwards I had not only more sound, more resonant sound, better quality of sound, but I had more range of colors and possibilities. You know, instead of being restricted in one way, all of a sudden you can sound like anything, you can play any color. And I found strange, we think sometimes we need to control things to be in control. But actually, when you relax and you let them be, you have more options.
It's very interesting what you say, because I discovered really another word. It's for me was more connection with more direct. No, my ideas with my body was more creating, and less stressful, because I could concentrate on the breathing technique, but not complicated, totally easy in comparison with what I was used to. You know, it being always in struggle and somehow cut it up. I didn't felt, and you know, it really your body. It sounds a little bit sentimental, but it's more when you see. I could feel that I was doing a fusion with the. I was no barriers, so take the flute and play. First, no barriers here and no barriers anywhere.
Yeah.
So what I try to, for example, to transmit to my student is this feeling that when you get it, it's like you are like in love with your instrument, and the sensation you have in the embouchure. What you hear is totally, I don't know, it's no filter, it's absolutely direct, and it can make you even having more emotion by because it's like direct, you are speaking and the instrument is kind of sometimes it's even make you really, I don't know, cry from
we talk about this a lot, you know, when we are testing flutes and we are trying flutes here at Powell, that a flute should be honest, you know. What you put into it, you should get out of it. And sometimes there are some, I don't want to get too much in one discussion, but there are some kinds of flutes which restrict a bit your possibility. They're not so honest.
Yeah.
To change, they don't change. So I think that's kind of, for me, I need something which is honest to me. What I ask, it does. What I want to do, it's really quite interesting. You know, you spoke a little bit about your students and the things that you work with them. You know, you have students at the Conservatoire in Strasbourg and also the Hochschule in the Academy. Are they all the same level, baccalaureate or bachelor's? Or, you know, tell us a little bit about each studio.
Alors, so I will start for Strasbourg because there are different sector, let's say. I don't know how to explain. I will explain. There is, of course, some students in bachelor, some in master, and they are quite all, let's say, all bachelor same level and all master same. No? But in Strasbourg there is also another studium that is called specialisation. And it doesn't require a master, or if you have also already a master, you can do it. So it's very interesting for people that they are like already professional and they want to continue to build up their studies or perfection. And and of course this is very interesting for me. It's like I don't know, like a Harry Potter place. Yeah, because you can really experiment a lot of things, because most of them, they have already a job, or they have already started the professional life. There are some of them, they come from Paris Conservatoire, they already finished and they are now in Strasbourg, or others that they did in Amsterdam, or I mean, different. Or there is a girl, for example, she was in Freiburg and she doesn't want to make master. She wants to focalize only in the flute. So you have really very people that they already have more clear ideas, let's say. No? And this is super interesting work with them. So, and you have also préparatoire supérieur, that it means you are not yet in bachelor, but you can have a feet already in the school, let's say.
Sure.
And so this is the Strasbourg organization, and since this year we have also doctorat. So, and you have to know the bachelor, master, and doctorat, they work together with the university. So you get master of musicology, and because it's really important the part that you do with the university. So,
do you recognize any regional similarities in your students? Because you have students who come from all over the world. Do you notice that whenever you get a player from Spain, you have to do ABC, and whenever you get a player from China, you have to do ABC? And you know, what do you see as a teacher now? You have people coming from many different places in the world. You know, do you see any similarities in sound or flute playing?
Let's say not really in the sound, but in the way to approach their, let's say, the week, how they work in a week. Huh? There are some of them, they are like, oh, but, it's too much, 2 etudes by week and per weekend and one piece. Oh my God, I will never manage. So at the first, they are a little bit because they are not really used to. So, but it's less and less, or others that you have to explain what is an appoggiatura forever, because they know what is only the name, but they don't know what is it. So this
Who doesn't know about an appoggiatura?
No, I can't. Come on. No.
That's really funny, Silvia.
No, this I will never tell you in private. So, and then, for example, in Berlin, Hans Eisler, I have some bachelor and some master, and also, I would say, also very tough player in Berlin.
Are they all from Germany, or are they from other places in Berlin?
No Germans in my class. Straight, well, let's say it's like that. And maybe because my German is awful. No, I don't know. But I have many French, and I actually, yeah, it's funny because in Berlin we should speak German. Actually, in the class we speak French because they are mostly French. I have a super Spanish girl as well. Yeah, so that's how is the class now at the moment in Berlin. And the Barenboim Academy is more people, young flutists, they come from the Middle Orient. I would say Middle East, sorry. And so we have, let's say, as a school, as a particular school, we have to privilege the students from this region, from the Mediterranean region, and of course they have a different formation, and the background is different, totally different. But they arrive, you can't imagine, they pass a very difficult exam on, like, they are tested by their knowledge, but not musically only. It's because they will have studies like philosophy, humanistic. It's more another kind of school, and they are tested before how they reason, how they use, their brain, not only how they play. So they can be a very good flutist, or, for example, in that case of our instrument. But if they have no, if they can't expose a concept in a deep way, they don't enter. So there are many people that are disappointed because they do a fantastic instrumental exam and they don't get in. Also very important is the English knowledge, how much they can speak in English, because the school is based on English lessons.
Interesting.
So for me it's good because at least I don't have to in German.
So what is the kind of sound that you hear coming from Middle East students, where is their flute level when you receive them?
It would not be enough for a bachelor, I think, in Europe, or let's say in France, for example, because a lot of things like intonation are not really yet in a good level, and the sound as well. It changed a lot, but it can most of them they have a little bit one sound and not really refined, not really. For example, in the diminuendi, maybe it's a lot of air or noise, or crescendi are really super. Well, they need to have the information to go on in a good way. And this is mostly how when they arrive, for example, there is a big work to do. But as I told you, they are very, very, very intelligent, because, for example, I had a girl from Syria. Now she's stuck in Syria. She can't come because of COVID and because of you can imagine, the borders are blocked. And but I was really impressed by her musicality. For example, she did a super exam, although it was in video, but so nice. I could tell by her eyes that she wanted that a lot. So she did everything by heart. She really tried her best to give the best. This is my occasion. This is the occasion of my life, let's say, because of course, and of course, as a teacher, you also take care about this willing part, no? How you say, the wish is so strong.
The desire.
That you can tell that they are people that they will do something, even if they will be not, I don't know, rampal, but they will do something because they have a fighter mentality, and this is ultra important in this in music, or like in sport. You have to be strong, because it's not always nice, and you have to be able to stand up every time you fall, to think, let's go on. There might come something much better, or that was not for me. Let's go.
Yes. Many people don't know, but I know right now you are in Rome, and you are there for the.
This is not my apartment. Very nice.
You are in a very nice hotel, because you are visiting for the this year's version of the Flautissimo Festival. Normally, this is a very important festival in Italy every year in Rome by the Accademia della Flauta Italiana. Italiano?
Italiano. Academy Italiana del Flauto. That's the right.
Exactly. So this is a very important festival that was one of the first festivals I went to as an American, and it was really eye-opening, because you have 500 or 600 people there to listen to the concerts, who are mostly young people. I would say maybe even under 20. And every day there are 2 or 3 recitals by the most popular flute players in the world. And it's like being at some sort of rock concert. You think it was, I don't know, Lady Gaga or the Beatles. And people are screaming, and they come to the stage door, and autographs and photos. And I've never seen enthusiasm for flute and for classical music yet. I don't see anywhere else in Europe. And it's really incredible. So you are there now this weekend. You will do a recital you share with Adriana, yes?
Yes,
tomorrow. Super Portuguese flutist who is now solo in Rome.
Accademia Santa Cecilia.
But tell me a little bit about what's happening with the flute in Italy right now. Like, why are there so many young people who love to play the flute, who are obsessed with the flute? Is it because of people like you? They see Italians around the world. Tell me, what's your impression?
And well, it depends. I think it depends a lot also from the cities, no? But there are in Italy many good teachers in conservatoires and also scuole di musica. So that it's not conservatoire, but a kind of parallel
We could
path.
say it's kind of like maybe like a community music school where they have classes,
Yeah,
and there
yeah.
might be a band or orchestra, and you can have private lesson, and
Yeah.
maybe on the weekends, on Saturdays, you will go
Mhm.
to
And for example, the Accademia di Santa Cecilia, they have a real academia for young musicians from the really young age. So they are building up since years now, new generation of not only flutists, but musicians. Of course, flutists, they are there in this academy. They come to those concerts that before, maybe you might remember, some years ago, those Flautissimo event, they were in the Accademia Santa, in the auditorium, no? Of Santa Cecilia. So it was even more people, if we could say, no, many, if at least the same, no, same number of auditors. And I think it's also, of course, the fact that in Italy, music is it's still an important value, although of course we can think many things are going down, but not only in Italy. About culture and music, is many countries in Europe are losing points, let's say, no, in the education. But as you said, there are so many. For me, it was also a shock when I saw so many young and interested flutists, and maybe not only flutists, who knows if they were only flutists, mostly yes, but
yes, yeah.
for example, I know also people that they have my age, let's say, they have children that they study in the Academy Santa Cecilia. One is flutist and one the brother pianist, and they came both to the concert, for example, no? So it starts from the parents, of course. Also the let's go to the concert. So it should be let's say a decision also by the parents to form and to let their children get in touch with really real concerts. So I'm positive. I think positive. I mean, I'm not positive to COVID. No.
I think there could be an Italian wave of flute players, in 10 years, something, maybe sooner.
Yeah.
The level is quite good. Mostly my life, I'm there at the exhibition stand listening to everybody test flutes. So I get to hear a little bit the level too. And there's a lot of energy in the young generation of Italian.
Of course, I hear more and more super players.
And it seems to be a very social thing. You come with your friends are flute players, and everyone is testing this flute. Here, you take that flute, I take this flute. It's a little bit different today in COVID times. We can't do this, but normally, there is a lot of social aspect to playing the flute in Italy, I find. But it was really an eye-opening experience. If you ever have the chance to go to this festival, please, if people are watching, I encourage you to go. It's organized by Stefano Cioffi, fantastic man who also has a publishing company, Riverbi.
Riverberi Sonori.
Yeah, and so there's very interesting new flute music, arrangements, things like this being mixed. But it was 1 year ago we were together in Rome, and we had a nice carbonara. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
We were with, of course, Philippe Bernold, and Riccardo was there. But we had our friend Gianni Cristiani.
Yes.
Say hello. It's his birthday today. So
it's true. It's true. Happy birthday.
Yeah, I don't know if he's watching.
We had also our super fan, Michael Rohr. He will also. He will also come with us this year.
And an amazing flute player also.
Huh? Super. Actually, look, these things I love, in life. This kind of passionate people, they do totally other things in life. Like Michael, he works in a bank. and he's so passionate. I mean, he goes everywhere to listen concert, he participated, buy CDs, whatever, not only flute, because I can, and this I really like. And sometimes I miss this from other musicians, you know, to be so curious and to still inspire themselves from other players.
Sure.
And for me, I mean, what I learned the most by people like Riccardo or Nicolet was really to really continue all life long to learn and to be curious and to continue to learn, because it's important to have a big view, no, of not only yours and your taste and being your own small world. So tradition is good, but it's good to know all what around is tradition as well in other countries.
I think this is a good kind of insoma to kind of tie things together, because it's true. What exists in Europe because of the EU Union is very unique, that you can work and travel and have an exchange with so many different people from around Europe, but from around the world, that there you have the possibility to have a perspective on all different places and all different types of sound, all different musicians. It's a very interesting to just stop and listen to see what's happening. There's so much.
Yeah, what I like being here, for example, you can go, for example, in Paris, you hear a kind of sound or players, no? So how they play their French music, or how they play Beethoven, and then you think, maybe this I like very good, but this less. And you go, I don't know, in Berlin, and you listen there, or Munich, or another country, another city in Germany, Hamburg or Köln, and you catch other things, and it makes you really think about phrasing, how it changes also by countries to country, no? Because we were talking about also how rich each country is. And for example, when I played in Rome opera, I enjoyed so much to play Tosca, Bohème. My God, it was apotheose total. Or Barbiere di Siviglia. Impressive, fun, really, and really touching. Because of course you can dream about better this, better that, but there was something that you can't explain, about how they were playing and phrasing and understanding what they were playing. And then you go to Paris, you listen Prelude or Daphnis or Pavane de Fauré or Pavane de Ravel or Bolero or whatever. There are things that you can only, I don't know, breathe. And by listening, trying then to reproduce, because of course we can learn. It doesn't matter where we come from, but most important, I think, is to be sensitive of what we are receiving, no? And how can I also reproduce the same, and asking which kind of sound they used, how they did it, and also observing, no, even other instruments, how they play Debussy, the strings in France is totally different. You can really see it by other countries. So, and of course, this I think a musician should really learn by how Mozart was going to learn from Salzburg. It took I don't know, 2 horses, and they went to Italy and to learn the Napolitan school, and then in Paris. I mean, he was traveling to learn, and it was the best example. He could say, "I'm Mozart. I know what I want."
Sure.
But he wanted to learn, and this, I think, we should really, really, still we can breathe and play. We should do it by many ways: listening concerts, going to even if you can't go, you can listen master classes online, or even watching Carlos Kleiber conducting, or master classes of singers, of old violinists, or Barenboim with piano when he explains the phrasing. My God, you can stay hours and learn.
It's true. So you have done so much, Silvia. You have orchestra, solo, chamber music with your Abamberg ensemble. You teach. Is there something left, a dream that you have not done yet? You want some? We have we say the bucket list. This means before
Yeah,
you die, so what's on your bucket list, Silvia?
Okay, I have one. Alors, first of all, I would have never imagined I would have been teaching in so many places, and I don't want to be like the champignon that is everywhere. But no, really, one day I will have to choose, of course. At the moment, I really enjoy and I really like it. And yeah, let's say, without entering in the question, I would have finished differently probably my orchestral life. Maybe it's not finished. Let's see. I don't say anything. I don't say never or it's ever over. Sorry. Because I still playing in Potsdam Camera Academy, for example, is a chamber orchestra where I absolutely really love how it's structured, and my colleagues and chef that is Antonello Monacorda. I really like even every administration person. I mean, I feel at home in the sense of how we all think, no?
Yeah.
So even if I don't go anymore in other orchestra, for me it's my orchestra. And as I said, like a small maybe wish or dream, it was always to do a CD, and I still didn't do because I'm lazy and I'm
you are not lazy, huh?
Yes, for these things, yes, I could have done, and I'm still like waiting for the right moment that is never coming. And because I always thought I should have a label to and it's sometimes it's tiring, Daniel, to always knock the door. Sorry that at some point I'm like, now I'm doing my life in another, in the way of I want to profit as well about life, not only thinking music. And I did for many years, and I'm super thankful. But I also like to be with my family in front of this. Yeah.
But I have one small question about the CD. What music would you record, huh?
Okay, I tell you. Okay, no, because
if it's a secret, you don't have to tell me.
No. Maybe if someone copies, is a bastard, I can say. Like really, they have zero ideas in their brain. So.
But we have a recording here, so don't worry. Everyone will know it's Silvia's idea.
Well, it was something that when I did Geneva competition, there was open program for the semi-final, and so about this, how to structure the program. I asked a lot, two person at the time were Ricardo, of course, although I was already in Paris, but it was always a reference for me, and also Aurel Nicolet, that I also was used to see each summer and also privately. So I asked both ideas, and they said, you should alternate modern and with old repertoire. It's important, no? It will be first of all a challenge for you, but also for the public. I said, okay, yeah, it's true. And but how to structure this and that? So it came out. That would be my program, and there was a fantastic, let's say, successful portion. For that. It was Maramare, some, so of course the theme and some variation, and between the variation, the most important pieces of for our repertoire. Some of them, of course, not everything, but those that they changed the vision of the flute, how to write, to compose for the flute, no?
So give me an example of something you.
Yeah, so like Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach, the Sonata in La minore, then Syrinx and Varese, that Nicole was used to tell us to play one after the other because they were one and the opposite, by also the first three notes. And then Berio, the sequenza, then kind of like Takemitsu, that was the Debussy of the Asiatic vision, no? And also, for example, in my latest update, I would also, of course, put Boulet's Sonatine, for example, and also Jolivet and Messiaen, that they were all three with Boulez. Boulez, Jolivet, Messiaen, they all influenced themselves, and they also had that important moment of vision of the flute, and how to use the flute, how to use this flute for express their music. And I like this idea. No, it would be like that. My CD, probably, if too long, of course I would take something off. But the idea would be this, and I think one day I will do it. But it's always it was a kind of, I don't know. I did some, like, my life was not like this.
No one's life is like this, huh?
Sorry?
No one's life is.
No. But I should fix it, because I'm seeing that I'm like reporting these things since many years, and I found stupid that I didn't do, even for me to achieve that. And instead of waiting too long, although I know that the CD right now, it doesn't change your life. No, it's not anymore a big etiquette like it could be before. But it's a kind of nice achievement. And
it's interesting. Also, you told me a couple weeks ago that you find you are listening to CDs more, and your students are listening to CDs more now, because we don't have live concerts, and the audio through the computer, YouTube, MP3, it's so compressed. We don't have the richness that you have on CDs and things like this. So it's very interesting. They say that the CD sales are very popular right now, and people are making a lot of money selling CDs. So you have to do it now.
Yeah, well, but I would try my best to fix it. But I think CDs are, of course, to have really to go and buy the disc, and to have it, to read the booklets, and to listen, and super, if you have the chance to have a good stereo, I would say, it really changes also your perception of sound, and it's different. And I think it's important that we don't get only used to telephone and all compressed. Maybe stupid, but I like to listen the whole range, and not even already in the CDs is totally different from a LP, but it's already better than a telephone, I think.
Well, my fingers are crossed for Silvia Careddu CD. Please don't.
Before that, they became totally white, and that I still have teeth.
Don't wait that long. I might not be alive. Yeah. Silvia, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you today. I wish we could talk for another couple hours, but I'm sure you want to go to bed or get some dinner, huh? It's dinner
in Rome.
We had many great messages from all of our friends around the world. So Silvia and I will check that out later and write back to you. But I just want to thank everyone for joining us in this conversation. But most of all, thank you, Silvia, for your time and your thoughts. And we really appreciate that you are enjoying your Powell flute, that you're happy to be a part of our family and share your artistry with us. So, thanks from everyone here in Maynard, in Boston. And we hope
you took all my disc. I wanted to say also thanks. You said everything. I said without words. So I really enjoy my power. And I'm very thankful to be how you say welcome. I have been welcome like already before, even that it was like supernatural to get yeah, in the family, and absolutely in the Buffet Crampon family, because I know many players of other instruments that they play buffet. So it's absolutely like being in a big family and supporting. I feel really supported, and I really thanks you, of course, Daniel, but the Powell Flute, that I hope one day I will be able to visit and to really be in touch with who really makes the flutes and the embouchure and every with so much love. We are so thankful. We never say enough that we really know how much everybody cares by building each part, like with huge patience and attention, and so really thanks a lot.
Thank you. I'll pass on your message to everybody. They are upstairs above me making flutes right now. So we're happy to share it with them. And enjoy your concert this weekend, and say hello to everybody in Roma from us. And
hopefully.
And keep in touch. Thank you so much, Silvia.
Thank you, Daniel. See you soon. Ciao, Daniel.
Ciao.